The Lion's Vanguard are a loyalist successor chapter of the venerable Dark Angel Space Marine Legion. Created during the Fourth Founding, after the Imperium's heavy losses at the hands of the immense war led by the Beast in 546 M32, they were tasked with the defense of a sector of space centered around newly rediscovered systems of planets. The system had been brought into Imperial compliance by the Night Lord's Legion during the time of the Great Crusade, but for some reason had become lost to Imperial records. This system consists of 2 habitable planets, a small number of moons inhabited by mining colonies, and is found in the Ultima Segmentum near the Somnium star cluster. The newly forged chapter was made up of mostly new recruits, but headed by a small number of Dark Angels veterans, including their freshly appointed chapter master, Geraint. Geraint had served as a castellan, defending strong points during his time in the Dark Angels, and so took his assignment of protecting this small sector of the Emperor's Imperium to heart. He chose the planet of Monelides, a mix of a hive world and a death world. The planet orbits its nearby star on a fixed axis, meaning the south side of the planet is constantly facing the sun and the north side constantly facing away. This created a huge variation in temperature, with the southern side being constantly hot and the north side constantly freezing, with a thin band of somewhat pleasant climate around the middle. The inhabitants of the planet had originally all lived around the central band of the planet, but as the hive cities grew and the clouds of pollution spread, they had migrated further south under the cover of thick smog. The northern half of the planet remained uninhabited, its strong magnetic pole bringing in heavy asteroid activity, as well as the constant blizzards and barren, rocky surface made it impossible to survive in. Having no human settlers meant the north side of the planet could retain its savage, monstrous wildlife. These beasts ranged from huge fur-covered creatures with curling tusks, sleek, muscular predators with teeth like combat knives, dreaded winged reptiles, and countless other creatures perfectly adapted to a harsh and unforgiving existence. Geraint chose the world for 2 reasons. 1. The northern pole would be an excellent place to defend due to its deadly environment, and 2. The great beasts of the planet could be hunted in honor of their gene-father Lionel Johnson, as he once hunted the beasts of Caliban in ages past. The chapter spent its first years of duty building up their mighty fortress ministry, which took resources to build from the moon colonies and hive city forges as tribute for the Space Marines' protection. Upon completion, the Lion's Vanguard would name this fortress the Arcus Saxorum and used it as a launching site to send out various small fleets to patrol the sector they had been charged to defend. The victories and defeats of the chapter remain somewhat forgotten or possibly kept hidden, as at some point in M33 the chapter had mobilized to assist a fellow unknown Space Marine chapter on the northern edge of their patrol territory. This would, however, reveal itself as a trap set up by the traitorous Alpha Legion and would not only result in massive casualties to the amassed and unaware Lion's Vanguard fleet, but also would lead to the death of their founding chapter master Geraint. After this encounter, the Lion's Vanguard took a common aspect of many Dark Angel's successors in that they would become a very aloof and secretive chapter, rarely interacting with the inhabitants of their homeworld and only responding to threats after careful scouting and reconnaissance had been performed. They were, however, said to be part of the fleet assembled by Admiral Vortigern Honroth during the Battle of the Black Nebula against Hive Fleet Yarmungandr. These traits would become a staple in the chapter's tactics, as they much prefer a calm and calculated strike, making use of a variety of combat styles to suit the scouted situation best, as is befitting of a chapter born from the gene seed of the great tactician Lionel Johnson. This mentality of practicality is mirrored in the warriors of the chapter, who do not adorn their armor with much golden trim or colorful heraldry found in other chapters, and whose members tend to stay quiet, saving their words for when important and relevant information needs to be passed on. Their chapter is relatively small and does not conform well to Guilliman's Codex Astartes. This is in part due to their preferred flexibility in combat, meaning each company will have a variety of squad types to fit most occasions, always including a scout squad. Recruits are solely accepted from the hive cities of Monelides, but the chapter does not seek recruits actively and has no prejudice towards the backgrounds and status of potential aspirants. The only thing they need to do to prove their worthiness is reach the fortress monastery. This will prove to be the most dangerous endeavor these aspirants have ever embarked on, involving weeks, if not months of trekking through snowdrifts, scaling sheer cliffs, and traversing jagged rocky wastes. All this while trying to avoid being killed by the numerous monsters of the Northern Hemisphere. The chapter employ an exclusive number of servo skulls, many of which roam this landscape and follow any potential recruits. The skulls note any special skills or techniques employed by the struggling mortals and relay these to the chapter. Any who are seen to fail on their dangerous journey will have their heads harvested by the servo skulls and brought back to the monastery to be turned into another set of ever-vigilant eyes for the chapter. Scouts serve alongside their battle line superiors in each company, learning quickly where they will fit in, if proven worthy, to the ranks of the Astartes. The final task of any scout is to venture back into the frozen land of their homeworld, armed only with a combat knife, and hunt one of the multitudes of dangerous beasts being ever observed by the fleet of servo skulls. Due to the harsh recruitment process, the chapter's numbers do not replenish quickly, and so, when the returned Primarch Rebute Gilliman's new Primaris Marines were offered to the chapter, they hastily accepted. However, many of the veteran Marines did not trust the new members of the Lion's Vanguard, for they had not faced the cold embrace of the planet's harsh environment. Currently, the chapter still operates in the sector close to the Somnium stars and still keeps to itself in most regards. Its current chapter master, Nuriel, had been ingratiated into the Unforgiven Inner Circle and allows his out-of-the-way fortress monastery to be used as a refueling and rearming station for any of his Unforgiven brothers, a much appreciated port of call since the Cicatrix Maledictum has split the sector of the galaxy from Holy Terror. The chapter uses this opportunity to join their brothers' hunts against the Fallen when possible, and has the capability to hold captured Fallen Dark Angels prisoners until transport to the Rock can be established. The Lion's Vanguard have recently been seen by other Imperial forces engaging with Tau of the Fifth Sphere expansion and have reportedly been engaging with Tyranids of High Fleet Tiamat, as well as splinter fleets of Jormungandr and the occasional Orc incursion. These accounts are mostly witnessed by other forces, however, as the chapter still stays aloof and rarely reports detailed descriptions of its engagements to any Imperial authority.